seat. So we want to have final discussions on that tonight.
I just want to remind you to use your microphone so everyone can hear you when you discuss it.
So as you know, we have three options. One is to leave the seat open till the next election cycle, which is May. The other is to have a special election and run that now, and that person would then be elected from now till May. And the third option is for us to appoint somebody who can host for interested parties to apply, and then we can interview and decide based on the person. Again, that person would only serve until May, and then they have to run for election. So, any discussion?
I have some thoughts. Not coming on. Maybe I might have pulled it out. So can you guys hear me when I talk on that microphone? Okay. I actually would like to interview candidates. And the main reason is, I think that we will attract people, more people now than if we did an election, because I think people don't know if they want to serve on a school board. I think this is kind of a low pressure way for someone that has an interest and might be interested in putting forth their name. And for me, I look at two of the board seats, two of the board trustees that are on this board were chosen in that way. Kelly and Carl. Kelly and Carl, they're both excellent board members. So I think the variety of people that we could attract if we did that. I also think that I like having 7 members. I like 7 different perspectives. We never all agree on something, but we always reach consensus. But I think everybody adds something. And I think I appreciate that other perspective, whatever the person has to say. And the other thing, I think a couple of things that are important is, there's issues that come up where, like tonight I had meet the teacher night. So I was late arriving here because I have a job. So I wasn't able to be here for most of the board meeting. When you have votes, like you always, and then other people have other commitments. I like having 7 members. It just makes it kind of there's no question that we're going to have a quorum. And what a quorum is that you have, enough members to actually have a vote where there's a majority. So I think it increases the likelihood of that. The other thing is, I just think, again, I respect very much this board. And I think given that more people will put their name forward, and we saw that previously for both times there were people interviewing. I like having that talent, but I also trust this group as a body. And I think, for example, when we chose Kelly, I never met Kelly before she ran, but I was just so impressed with when she interviewed, and I think she's carried that through. So I think we would see something similar. To me, I don't know why we wouldn't.
I'll go next. So James, I thank you for your input. I am going to respectfully disagree with your recommendation to appoint. While I certainly agree with many of the things that you stated, specifically that we don't always agree, but we do come to consensus, and each person's input is important. And yes, there are some times when some board members cannot make it because they have jobs and families. I do believe that we are here to represent the community, and I do feel there is a strong sense from the community that an election take place. So it's just my personal opinion that we hold off on the vacant seat until the May election.
I agree with Kelly. I think that historically this board has gone at least to 2 of those options. And I think that sometimes you have to look at the political, what's going on and what people are saying and how they're feeling. And I think that if we were to appoint somebody now, that person would come under such scrutiny, even if they were the best person possible. And I think that's unfair to put anyone in that position. I'm not in favor of a special election, but I do think that withholding anything, we can wait until May, and that something were to happen between now and May, we could revisit this as a thought. But I don't see, the need to appoint. I think it'd be a lot of time, I think it'd be a lot of effort, and I think that running that person through the interview process and then having to run in May, knowing that they're gonna be met with opposition, even if they were the perfect person, is problematic.
I want to say, I also agree with Kelly. Sorry, James. But not for the particular reason that this is very late in the year. By the time we got the paperwork, interviewed someone who would probably be around February, and I would not want to do that when a couple of months down the road, people could vote on who they chose. So I agree we should go with the election in May, because the timing is really off. So I agree with that.
I feel torn, and I see your point as far as pushing it to the election, but I came onto the board in a very contentious time. It was when the budget failed, and there was the board wanted to pierce the cap. And I feel like I'm far from a perfect board member, but I do feel like I hopefully I've added value in the 10 years I've been on, the 9 years I've been on the board, and I feel like I'd be a hypocrite if I said we should not try to appoint someone. In the meantime, I think the more people that care about the district and that can bring their own special viewpoint and expertise to the board would only help us. Again, I'm not married to that, but I definitely lean more towards appointing now.
Kingmaker.
That's where you go last.
To be honest with you, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the point. I mean, I know there's communications out there that say we're taking something away. We're all elected by our community, and within the state law, we're allowed to appoint somebody to fill the seat. I agree that I think it's better to be a full complement. But I also agree with what the two of you said as well, and also that I wouldn't want to put a person in in a situation that they have to defend themselves, just to be on the Board of Education. And so I think at this time, I mean, if we would have had a full complement a month ago, in the beginning of September, I probably would have pushed to fill the seat. But since we don't have a unanimous now, even though I could easily make the decision by being the third one, but I think we'll hold it until the election. Okay, with everything?
Yeah.
I just want to add one more thing, and this is with a personal perspective. I definitely want to say that I am certainly grateful that I was able to come in and interview, and I was very passionate about joining the board, and I did run the next year. But at that time, I don't feel like there was, it was a different atmosphere, a different climate, and I feel like it's just important to listen to the community at this time about this issue. Thank you, everybody, for your input.
Thank you. Okay, so is that the next thing I have on our discussions is about training opportunities. There's it's for board members, there's a fiscal governance workshop on November 29th. And they're actually enticing people to come because they're giving dinner. So
I've actually already signed up for that.
For the dinner?
No, it's the dinner. Oh, wait, there's this meeting. I'm gonna go.
And yes, that sounds like a good opportunity. And there's another one on cybersecurity on October 11th and October 24th. So that's available to you as well.
Is that a two-part or is it one or the other?
I think it's one or another, that it's a free webinar.
We have our meeting on the 11th.
Yeah.
Also wanted to add at the Wednesday meeting, Ron is gonna be doing a presentation on how to read our fiscal reports, so that'll be a training in itself for all of you. Just, it's an updated way to look at the new fiscal reports.
Maybe we can talk about maybe some of these considering going to that cybersecurity one on October 24th. I'll look at my book and see.
I know I have a training scheduled that day, but if nobody signs up for it, I don't have to do it, so I'm gonna be in right now.
I know John Verdun and I attended one virtually a couple of years ago, and there was actually a lot of really good information. So I'd like to see what.
So if it's a webinar, is it virtual? Is it gonna be taped? I don't know if it's gonna be taped, but it just. All right, that would be great. Then I'll send it.
Okay, we also have the Islip Town School Board meeting, that's on October 23rd.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, the free web, the webinar is. I don't see it, when I will find out about that.
Yeah.
Well, we also have the ISIP school board meeting, so we need to know who's going to that in advance or how. They'd let you know about that. The ISIP school board.
Clearly,
Yeah.
and Space Shore Schools is hosting it and there's no cost or
Okay,
cancel it.
okay. And that's actually a good meeting. Because it's small, it's all the school boards are invited to ISIP town. So collaborate with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other topics?
School history.
Yeah. Any
More middle history.
further discussion?
No, I'd like to attend that one.
Okay, good. So now we're gonna go on to the public comment portion. And before we start, this portion, I would like to make the following statement. The Board of Education appreciates feedback from the community. And we recognize free speech as one of our fundamental freedoms. These freedoms are not without restrictions. We follow regulations specified by law and board policy, and we recognize our community members. We encourage our community members to offer public comment. According to Sayville School Board Policy 1230, we request the following. Participants in public session must demonstrate civility as they address the board and community. 30 minutes have been set aside for comments by the public. The board reserves the right to limit or extend public participation if it deems necessary. Comments and questions from the public are limited to 3 minutes per person and should be related to school matters. Speakers are requested to identify themselves or the group they represent and direct their comments to the board. The board will not permit discussion involving individual students, district personnel, or community members. The following the full policy is available on the district website, and we appreciate your support to have a productive meeting. Thank you. So now a show of hands on how many people would like to speak.
Which mind if I speak first? I usually wait till last, but I get to leave early.
Okay, let me see how many I have. So, am I speaking?
Great.
Okay, we have 3. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, everybody, and thank you. I usually say my thank yous for the end and I run out of time because we only have 3 minutes now. Years ago, we had a long time. And I think thanks to me, it was cut to 3 minutes. So I really didn't get to say thank you until the end. So I have a list of the petition and you can have this and you have the other one. These people all thank you for making a decision about the vote. This is for James. I'd like to make sure that you have a copy of a code of conduct. That you're aware, just in case you never looked at one. Thank you. A parent sent me a notification about the middle school. An incident happened. And there was a story made up about it. When my kids would lie, they come home and I say, what happened to the back of my car? There's a dent in it. I don't know, Mom. Okay, but they knew they were in trouble. But if they come home and say, that guy down the block, he hit my car, blah, 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 it's their fault. And he actually makes up a story to cover the lot. And this has come to me with rumors you hear. That's no good. How do I know something happened at the middle school? Educators know things between themselves, police families know some things between themselves. There's no reason at all, if you have to say what happened at the school, but just to say, we had an incident, everything's okay, we need to protect privacy. We want you to know, whatever it is we want you to know. Making up a story to cover a fabrication is disgusting. And then to have us say, come, listen to you, we have to believe you now and everything else, I'm sorry. That was disturbing. I've been coming here for years for this community. Staff, okay, suppose I'm a teacher hater, but I've been here for years for staff, I've been here for the community. And I don't appreciate you lying to my community and deceiving them like that. And please, don't ask me if you don't know what's wrong with me or attack me. Sometimes we make mistakes and we just say we're sorry. That's it. I think we need to fix the foundation of that. Okay, we need to stop bullying in the schools sometimes, and inclusion needs to be in every single elementary building. We need to have them growing up together. We need to change that over the next couple of budgets like this, please. Because these children do not grow up together. They end up 2/3 of them meet in the middle school and they tease each other, they bully each other. It's horrible. Please have them grow up together from kindergarten. All of your inclusion, please move them to their home schools. It's easy for the parents and it's much better for all the kids. Start inclusion in the district, not just outside and talk about all the books and everybody outside of Sayville. I'd really like to advocate for that. Thank you very much. Kelly, I noticed I had a question, just a quick one. You thanks everybody who spoke civilly. And it's in the minutes, you're gonna approve them at the last board meeting. I don't know the definition of civilly, but I know James's is much different than yours, probably.
Okay, time's up, thank you.
Thank you.
Person, please.
Hi, my name is Jill Pinella Corso. I'm a parent in the district. Kids at Beacon. Dino, actually, my question is for you. I really enjoyed your presentation. Thanks. Very effective PowerPoint. I was just wondering when we can expect to hear like an update on how the goals are going. And I specifically would like to hear more about like how each building is implementing the goals.
Thanks for your question. So the work is underway and there are plans on the calendar to reconvene at a board meeting in February. I think it's February or late January.
I think the elementary presentation is in February. There's also gonna be a high school and middle school update as well. Elementary is gonna present together, but they'll report to each school about where we are with things. But we're not promising that everything in the goals will be met within the year. It's a long range plan, but we're definitely gonna report on progress in the winter.
February 1st.
Yeah, we, just for those who are interested, we have on the website a list of topics for every board meeting. And the topics that are being covered. So if you look at that, it'll show you the date. I think it's February for elementary school.
Okay, anyone else?
Good evening, John Raymond, 2-year resident, 11-year homeowner of Sayville. I prepared a little written thing. I'm a baby boomer, so it's all written out. I don't use computers too much. I'm going to abandon that because based on the discussion of filling John Verdon's seat, it seems you've pretty much decided to hold off on appointing someone, which is the second best option. It was a rare compliment from my delightful Teal to you all about your decision, but I disagree with her. I generally agree, but I disagree here. I believe we should have a special election. I think parents should be respected. And there's a lot of sentiment in this community. There are multiple petitions. There's a petition online with 374 signatures, including my own. And I really believe that tipping the hat to the parents and including them in the process, symbolically and tangibly, by holding a special election is crucial, particularly in these turbulent political times. So not appointing someone is better than by fiat appointing someone, but far better, and believe me, there's many silent members of the community who are not speaking tonight, who would much prefer a special election. I've heard claims made by a certain board member on June 8th, that it would be far too costly and a waste of resources. I totally disagree. I recall a speaker being invited to the middle school for Martin Luther King for a brunch or bruncheon, and that speaker was Feminista Jones. and a highly racist person, highly divisive person is going to poison the lives of middle schoolers.
I don't know what that's.
The point is the cost. I would like to know if Sayville funds were allocated towards that speaker or not.
She wasn't invited. It was virtual. It was a
So
virtual.
there was no cost.
I don't believe so.
Okay, I no, it wasn't one of my
It
questions.
also didn't happen. They
Yeah.
didn't, they
No, it didn't happen, but the point, I'm curious about whether Sayville's fund, my hard-earned tax money, was gonna go to that speaker to
No.
divide kids
No.
and create this consciousness of racism, which
Okay.
let kids be kids. Getting back to it, I'd much prefer obviously to have a special election, regardless of the cost. These are getting parents involved in the kids' education, and it's out of respect for the parents. Who cares more for the kids than the parents? Nobody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, he's.
Chairman coming.
I'm not much of a mic person, but
That's not mic.
this is gonna be good practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my. It's imaginary.
Not much more to add, except what was just stated, whether it's a special election or we hold off on the election, I think that's the way to go, we fill in the seat. I think I made that comment before about 75% of the parents, I guess, being engaged at the high school level. That's a great way to start. Whether it's special election or an election held off, that's the best way of, on the right foot, right? Try to get parents. And the comment about interviewing someone, I just want to get to you. So I work in corporate, just like you too. When you interview a person, you tend to sometimes get the person, you hire the person that has the same mindset. And that's the danger also of interviewing somebody. You know, we all fall in that, we're comfortable, and this guy looks like he's like me, but that doesn't really bring much to diversity in a different way. If I hire someone that thinks just like me, and I'm working on a project, I just have another John next to me. It's good to have different, and it's not just skin color, it's also just up here. Your life experience makes you diverse. Your skin color, your faith, your neighborhood, the way you were raised, those are all things that make us all diverse. But anyhow, Kelly, I'm saying right, thank you for being brave and speaking out on that. You pretty much started the catalyst with this. And thank you for that whole PowerPoint presentation. That's a lot of data, but it's a good starting point. At least you know where you stand. Thank you. Thank you for your time, Evan.
Anybody else? Okay, I just would like to make one comment. Obviously, as a community, we don't all agree on everything. And this is a clear example of that. The board doesn't agree on this topic unanimously. So we just should respect everybody else's point of view. And we found a compromise. The compromises will have the election in May. I guess what most of us on the board wouldn't want to have a special election because there's additional costs involved. And for the short period of time that that person sits on the board, we feel it's not worth that cost. But we'll have it in May by the community. So thank you.
Want to respond to Field's comments. I guess I'll just say this. If an incident occurs at a middle school and rumors are spread about a child, and none of those rumors tend to be true, I'm not going to put an email about that student non-event occurring. So my job is to protect the rights of the child. But I also want to say, it's not a discussion, this is not a back and forth, this is just me responding to your comments. I refute the statement that there was a lie told. There was police officers at the middle school. One of them went into the building. The principal looked at the police officer and said, "Why are there so many guys here?" And he said, "We're training a bunch of guys." That is what was told to the principal. That is what I shared with the community. If there's a situation where there's a danger or a threat to any students in our schools, my promise in that email and in reality is genuine. We will notify parents, but we're not going to notify parents about an issue that actually was proven to be not true. So that's all we're going to say. We're not discussing it. I'm just saying that for you to come out and say we're lying about it is in fact a stretch of the truth in itself. And I just want to tell you, in a community where we are striving to ensure that all children do not feel bullied or harassed, I want to thank you, Teal, because you consistently remind me what it feels like to be bullied and harassed, and I'll keep me as a going kind of focus forward, so I don't, and I make sure that our children never feel the way you make me feel. Thank you.
Sorry, you feel that way, but that's the truth. You made a narrative.
Okay, so,
Okay.
okay, we're gonna move on to, recommended, actions. I need a motion for items. Okay.
Motion.
Okay. So give it a second.
Six of them.
We could do them in motion for, I need a motion for items, 601 to, I will do up to 704.
Motion.
Second.
Second, okay, discussion? All those in favor? Yes. Okay, then I need a motion, 801 through 9. 902. Motion. You gotta take out the light. Which one is that?
Let's go 82 separately. So, 801,
So, which one do you want to take out?
802.
Okay, so we're gonna do 801, then 803 through 902. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
All those, second,
Second.
all, any discussion?
I just want to say, I think in one of these appointments, we are approving something that's related to one of our teachers in the military, and I just like to recognize their service and thank you for them.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor? Against? Motion passes. Any motion for,
Could you please explain again what we're doing?
Sure, so we're now gonna go to 802 as the civil service schedules, so to vote on that separately because there is a personal relationship with the SAC. So we can call that and then the SAC will abstain from that vote.
okay, so a motion for item 802?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All those in favor? Yeah, passes. No, sorry, abstention, let's go for something, so I got one abstention. Motion passes. Okay, then we have, do we need go into executive? No, okay, so then we need a motion to, close the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Meeting's closed, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Very good.